It was night one of the Republican National Convention. It all started on Monday night, and there were a couple moments that went viral, certainly on Twitter, courtesy of Kimberly Guilfoyle. She set Twitter ablaze during the first night of the convention after her viral speech in support of President Donald Trump. Now, before we get into some of these iconic reactions, let's take a look at her speech.
We kneel in prayer and we stand for our flag. This election is a battle for the soul of America. Your choice is clear.
Look, that speech, you only felt one type of emotion watching it, which is like, oh my goodness, I can't. It was just a lot. It was a lot to take in. And as you mentioned, there were a lot of, yeah, it was forceful. It really was. But there was a lot of iconic reactions, as you mentioned. I want to talk about Trevor Noah, who honestly, I think he said it perfectly. He retweeted one of Lady Gaga's tweets from 2012, which has become a meme now. And it's a random series of letters and numbers. And he just simply added Kimberly Guilfoyle. Then actor Brian Greenberg tweeted, quote, "So very loud," which I think a lot of people felt the same way. But Twitter users had one dominant takeaway from Kimberly's time at the podium, and that is that Cicely Strong needs to do a shouting Kimberly on SNL. Bette Midler tweeted, "Can't wait for Cicely Strong to play Kimberly Guilfoyle on SNL. So much material, so little time." Her speech reminded a lot of people of Cicely's Janine Pirro skit that she would do on SNL from time to time. So they kind of did their own casting here, and I think she would do wonderful. What are your thoughts on this, Denny?
Well, I gotta tell you, that speech from that one-time Fox News host is the stuff that SNL is made for.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because it was just so over the top, and I think a lot of people were also having and poking fun at it because you have to be mindful that the convention is happening in the middle of a pandemic, so there's really no one in the audience. So even though she is being televised and it's being broadcast, she's speaking as if there's thousands and thousands of people, and she got louder and louder. Release the crackheads! Like, that's why it was just so ridiculous and so funny. Like,
No, seriously, because at the end of the speech, because I watched the entire thing. It was a lot, but I watched it. And it's expected to hear just a crowd roaring, and you didn't hear anything. She just stood there, and it was just like, okay. This is TV, right? For television, you don't necessarily have to speak as if you're speaking to a crowded, audience. You have to kind of carry people with you.
but also any public speaker will tell you this, that with an audience in the crowd, it changes your delivery. It changes your performance. You know what I mean? It really does. And so I feel like she practiced that for a crowd of people that just weren't there. So I think it just hit different. You know what I mean? I gotta say though, my favorite meme on Twitter has been comparing Kimberly to Rita Repulsa from Power Rangers. I thought that was hilarious because I was a huge Power Rangers fan. Just like when she released the Putty Patrol, like that's the vibe that I got from Kimberly, but God bless her on her journey. We got to talk about something else that went viral, though. Kellyanne Conway's daughter, she shared a TikTok video reacting to her mom stepping away from the White House that got everyone's attention. On Sunday, Kellyanne resigned as President Trump's counselor, saying that she wanted to focus more on her family. Shortly after her husband, George, actually announced that he'll be stepping away from his political roles as well. But like I said, this all comes a day after her daughter, who's 15 years old, said that she was officially pushing for emancipation from her parents in a series of tweets. She has been very vocal online about her left-leaning views and of her family's issues right now. But once news broke of her parents stepping away from politics, this is what Claudia shared on TikTok.
Y'all, I know I said I was taking a break, but look what I did. Look at what I did, ladies and gentlemen. Look at what I did.
Is that she found out along with everybody else. Yeah. Like, that's the really interesting part about it.
Is that surprising though?
It's not, because I mean she's aired out a lot of their family business, and she's even went as far as accusing her mom and her father of physical abuse, and just telling us a lot of their dirty laundry. I'm not sure what is true or what is not, but it's not surprising. But I really hope that Kellyanne does step away and focus on family like she said she would, because
Mhm.
obviously there's some things that need to be worked out in that household for sure.
I mean, for Claudia to go as far as to say that she's pushing for emancipation, I don't know how serious
Yes.
she is. She seems like she's pretty funny. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder if she was just making a joke out of it.
No.
But I would not be hard pressed to find out that Kellyanne Conway and her husband wanted to prioritize what's going on, at home with their family over what's going on in the White House with President Trump. You know what I mean? Like, if it's
For
affecting your family
sure.
that much to the point where your daughter's going public saying that she wants to peace out on you, then that's something to be
Exactly.
done. You know what I mean? And I say I'm surprised that Claudia found out like the rest of us, because wouldn't your daughter be or your kids be one of the first calls you make? By the way, this is coming out today. It's going to be a big deal, but also I want you to know I'm doing it for you. I don't know if that's the
But
reason, the sole reason Kellyanne is stepping away, but I have to
right.
I have to believe that it played a huge factor into it.
Of course, and that would be an ideal situation. But like I said, obviously, the statements that she has made about her parents in the past show that they don't have that type of relationship. And think
Mhm.
about just being like a young girl growing up with your friends who are pretty much liberal, and then you have your mom who is clearly standing on one side. It's just a tough position to be in as a teenager. And then a 15-year-old, I'm pretty sure Kellyanne knows she has some work to do, because I mean, that's your
Yeah.
relationship with your kid. Forget being in the White House. That's your kid.
I think one thing we can agree on though, it makes for some great TikTok content for this 15-year-old.